Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian, and joining us, as always, is your co-host, Jim.
A raccoon's kind of like having a pet cat with hands. It's like having a pet cat with hands.
Did something happen with a raccoon of late?
No, we were talking about Tom Nook and his child labor violations and what a predatory lender he is. And that just got me on the subject of raccoons earlier.
He's not a raccoon, though. He's a Tanuki. Nope, he's a Tanuki.
A what?
All right.
What's a Tanuki?
Tanuki is a
Tanuki.
Yeah. It is a. The name is commonly translated as raccoon dog. They They look a little bit like both.
But that's not a coon dog. That's a raccoon / dog. It's a whole different.
No, but he's thought of as the name itself, Tom Nook, as in a reference to Tanuki.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, but he's a bad person. But yeah, so we were talking about raccoons, and the guy that used to live next door to my grandfather had a pet raccoon. It was just part of their house. So, and they didn't tell me that they had a pet raccoon the first time I went over there until it came crawling out from under the couch, right between my feet.
Came to say hi.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell is that?
Dear Lord.
Yeah, that was a thing.
So you heard your co-hosts Spaz
Hello.
and Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
And me, I guess.
And
You're here too.
Well, I saved you for last. I saved you for last because you have something you want to talk about before we get into our main topic. So I thought we'd
yeah.
I thought we'd seg right into you. So join us for Hunter's Corner, or I don't know what we name it. I'd want to do something with alliterations like Hunter's Hellscape. No, I don't know.
Well, I just really wanted to say to that one listener out there, whoever you are, wherever you might be, happy birthday.
You know who you are.
Oh my God! Did they have Romper Room on TV when you were a kid?
Romper Room, yes.
Yeah. So we should have a magic mirror
Room.
And just be like, I see Timmy and I see Bobby.
Oh God, right.
Just go down the whole Patreon list.
I see Rupert 29.
It was that and the Great Space Coaster were like my mornings as a child. And what was that anime with the 5 kids, the 5 bird kids? Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, that was those were my mornings as a kid.
You want to see something that's a trip? I'll send you a link to it. The original Japanese version of that show, very different.
Very different.
Oh, really?
There's a reason that Keop only talked in beeps and boops.
Oh no. Okay. Or Gotcha Man.
Yes.
Apparently, it was also called.
Gotchamon, yeah.
Is that what it was?
That
called
was the original title.
In Japan.
And in fact, the series is still around.
Oh, what?
They've been making newer installments of that series. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's. I mean, are the kids adults now, and they have their own kids who are flying the thing?
New crew each time, pretty much. But yeah,
fine. So, welcome to our Space Game Podcast, friends. I know we haven't really talked about space games yet, but Hunter, you wanted to talk about a little bit of dual universe before we got into our main topic.
Yeah, just to kind of hit on it because it is out of NDA. It's openly, you can openly talk about it. Yeah, influencers are openly streaming it now, and it is quite fascinating. So 4 years ago, a little bit about 4 years ago, we had JC, the CEO of NovaCork, on here, and that was a fantastic show. By the way, he was such a great guest, and I remember it vividly because right after that show, I immediately went to their Kickstarter and backed the project. I was like, I am sold on this idea. I want to see it to come to fruition. And so I did. We had about a year and a half where we didn't have anything after the Kickstarter was done, as they were getting ready to go into alpha, or pre-alpha as they called it. And then they finally went into pre-alpha, but it was a lot of like testing. So it was like the server's up for a few days and then it's down for like a month, and then it'd be like server's up for a few days and it's down for a month. And so that was kind of like the super early phases of testing. And then they got into like alpha testing where it was up on more longer periods of time. And then they finally went into a pre-beta, which was like a week long of pre-beta for all the backers to get in first, which was still under NDA. And then they finally launched into their open beta. There's no more wipes. So like anything and everything that gets done so far now up until the official release is going to stay in the game. At least that's what they have said. So it's kind of like a land grab opportunity and like a rush to kind of to see what people can do. And it's very much the early days of an MMO where like markets are still not like, you know, there's definitely bots on the markets to help seed some things, especially like the Tech 1 type stuff. But it's you know, it's definitely the early stages of, you know, trying to get in there and make all the things. So I've definitely gotten into it, and I've been hanging out with another Twitch streamer, YouTube streamer, as they've been doing stuff too in their Discord and hanging out with them. And it's been really interesting and fascinating to see all the different things that they've got going on, from building structures. Their tool system and their like crafting system is extremely intuitive, but it's also extremely complex at the same time. But there's a whole lot of tutorials and hand holding at the beginning. So there's like, they call them institutes that you can go and do, where you can actually get like really in-depth like training on how to use your mining tools and how to use your crafting tools and all this other stuff. And it's pretty cool. So there's no NPC stuff in here at all. I don't know if there ever will be, but right now it's kind of just an open world sci-fi universe. And it's got way more going on, and I hate to you know, punch the dog as it's down, because it's never gotten up, which is Star Citizen. You know, it's got way more going on in it than Star Citizen does. You know, Star Citizen definitely looks a lot prettier for sure because of like what they're working with, but the complex systems of what you can do, where you can build all of your own ships, and there's all of this like mining and economy stuff going on. It's pretty insane. The thing that impressed me the most, though, recently, as I've been discovering, was their flight model and how it all functions, because I didn't quite get a chance to do the flight modeling stuff in the alphas or any of that other time. And so seeing how the flight model works is quite shocking, because it's all based, everything matters, right? So from the weight of what you're carrying on your person to the weight that is in the cargo containers on your ship, if you put more stuff in it, it adds weight to your craft. So you have to take weight into account when you're doing your builds. And that also comes into play when you're trying to break gravity and like get out into orbit. You have to take weight into account for that. So like you have to have like a thrust ratio of like making sure that you can get enough thrust to break orbit if you have so much weight. And you know, then that comes into play too, because like all of the space flight mechanics are just, it's not pure 100% Newtonian, because you can just like break instantly almost. Well, you don't break instantly, but you can slow down rapidly and come to a complete stop within a few seconds, as where it'll take you like several minutes to get up to full like speed. And so they have different systems. They have the atmospheric flight system, they have the space flight system, and then they have a warp drive flight system. I've yet to experience the warp drive stuff, but the space stuff is spectacular, and you can definitely get up to speed and then just coast all the way to like wherever it is you're going. And I watched one of these guys on Twitch do this, and it was like 3 hours of just coasting through space, letting the inertia of your speed take you to where you needed to go, because he didn't have a warp drive. And he got there, and then he landed on the planet he was wanting to go to, and got out and was able to make like a territory claim on this planet. And it was pretty awesome to like experience. Like I didn't watch the full stream, but like I caught it at the beginning. I was like, all right, well, if it's going to take him X, Y, and Z amount of time to get there, I'll come back in about a few hours. And sure enough, I did. and I watched him land. But this game, Dual Universe, is in beta. You can get into it now. It does not cost to get the game. All it does is cost subscription time to play, and it is the cheapest I've ever seen for a subscribed MMO of $21 for 3 months of gameplay. So
that's not bad.
That comes to about $7 a month. So I mean, for a subscribed based game, that's actually very reasonable. This isn't a game for everybody, but if you're curious about it, there are people who are streaming it. We do have people in our Discord who play. I've already made actually I made it 4 years ago. But there is a Space Game Junkie organization in the game, and the cool thing about player organizations is you can join up to 5 player organizations. So it's not like you join a guild and then you're locked into that guild. Like you can go join your friends group, or be part of multiple groups, and it's pretty cool. You can even have your organization join a whole other organization as an organization, so you can have a sub organization within it. So that's where your alliances and stuff come into play. Their system of gameplay is just spectacular. So anyway, I could go on and on and on and on and on, but we're going to talk about something else.
That's fine. We should see if we can get them back on. That's something. So
I completely agree.
We could go on and on and on. But yeah, folks, we didn't have a guest this week because my computer went down. I wasn't really able to schedule anyone. So I thought we'd talk about something that's been bringing us some joy of late. Old games, y'all. Lately, Hunter and I especially have been testing older games. We've been trying to get them working. You especially, more than me even. Because if y'all remember, my friends, a while back, we used to use this service called Evolve, which was a virtual LAN. They also call it a VPN, but for our purposes, it was like a virtual local area network. And a lot of older games use LAN for their multiplayer, especially since GameSpy servers went down, a decade or so ago. And so we found a potential replacement called Zero Tier that so far has been very encouraging. I think I'd like to do more testing of it, but so far it's been very encouraging. So we've been trying to get old games to work because we wanted to test out whether we can get it working on the LAN. And some older games just work right out of the box. I have a zipped up version of Starlancer that you just unzip it and it runs. It's kind of amazing. And that's a game where you could play the full campaign with 8 people. That doesn't happen very often. So we played that a little bit, and that was a blast. But you got some games, Hunter, working that I couldn't even get working, and because you figured out some interesting tricks. I'm amazed that you got Dominion Wars working. That's astounding to me.
Yeah, that astounded even me. It still needs. I still need to do some more tweaking with it because of that. I noticed during longer gameplay sessions, because I was actually getting to 3rd and 4th missions down the road. I was getting into playing it. The longer you play it, the more the game starts to chug after a little while. Because when you first start playing it, it's actually really smooth as butter, and it just plays well. It definitely shows its age and its visual style, but the longer you play it, so I feel like it has something to do with some kind of either memory problem or I'm not entirely sure, but it's something that I'm looking into. But I mean, for the most part, you can get it to work, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, we have both been finding a joy in getting older games to run. I think it was a year or two ago, I got Emperor of the Fading Suns to run in a window, which is amazing because I could never capture it when it went full screen. Even with the display capture on OBS, it would just be a black screen, which is insane. So I got it running in a window, but the problem is it runs at 640 by 480. Or I think 800 by 600. And the window can't be resized. So it is virtually unplayable on a 1440p monitor. So that is the next thing I'm trying to do is get the window resized. Because there's some things you can do to get older games running. DOS games are especially easy with this. Because you can just go into DOSBox, the settings file, and edit it's basically a text file, and you run in a window, no problem. But there's a program out there called DXWND that, if you can get it working, can run a lot of games in a resizable window. But I could not do that with Emperor of the Fading Suns for some reason. But what were some of the other older games you got running recently, Hunter? There were a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, Starlancer worked right out of the box for us, which was pretty cool. I got
you got Battle
Star Siege.
Oh yeah, Star Siege. That was also fairly painless. Honestly. Yeah, we played some of that over Zero Tier, and it worked great.
Yeah.
But no, you got Battle for Naboo working, which I'd never seen Battle for Naboo. But you got that working?
I did. Yeah, Battle for Naboo was actually a fun one to get working. And once I got it working, that one also just worked really well. So, and it's one that I have. I have it for the N64. I've never actually played all the way through it. And it's one of the few Star Wars games I actually have never played all the way through. Because I played the on the N64 specifically, I played the hell out of Rogue Squadron and Pod Racer and Shadows of the Empire, right? But a lot of people don't realize or know about Battle for Naboo, which came out from Factor 5 using the same engine as Rogue Squadron for the N64. And like Rogue Squadron, there was also a PC release. And so I got the PC port to work. And it's one of those games where it's just like, well, GOG's got these other like classics, because you can get on and Steam now, of course. But you can get Rogue Squadron and Pod Racer out there now. It's just kind of like, well, why not get this one? Maybe it wasn't because it wasn't as popular. I don't know, but I love to me. It's not about necessarily popularity. It's about games preservation. And it's really about giving people like an opportunity, even if it's not for everyone. There's going to be someone out there who wants to play it. Exactly. So I was glad I got it to work. So
yeah, that was neat. I watched you stream a little of it on our Discord, and I'd never played it. I heard it was decidedly mediocre, so I skipped it.
Yeah, I mean, and it is decidedly mediocre.
Yeah. But, I still have the N64 version.
I think it also came out on the Dreamcast, didn't it? Am I remembering that right?
Not.
Or was that Racer?
No,
or was that Racer that came out? That one of those.
So Dreamcast got Jedi Power Battles.
Oh God. Right. Jesus.
They got a couple other ones. I feel like they also got Episode 1, maybe. I'm not sure. Which, despite being not that great of a movie per se, Episode 1, the game, is actually a pretty solid game.
Really?
When you look at it from gameplay mechanics, yeah. From if you're looking at like a it's almost like a Solid Snake, but like where you're like it's that top down. You're controlling Obi-Wan through the map, and I actually have it.
Which was the one where you played like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and
I think it's that one.
It was almost okay.
I think
because it was more like an adventure game than
right.
It had some combat, but it was like a walking simulator, Jedi walking simulator.
Kind of, in a weird way, it kind of was. Yeah, I have a boxed copy of that. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. There was a few other ones that we got working. We did get Pod Racer to work on the VLAN. That was fun. That we set up. You and I played some Pod Racer. That was actually a lot of fun to play some Pod Racer.
So fun. Yeah.
If you guys want to play Pod Racer, come let us know because we'll hook you up and we'll get things going. We'll go play some Pod Racer.
It works great.
Like I said, we got Star Siege working, which I had never played, and so that was kind of cool to figure out that one and get it to work.
Yeah, I never did either. I played Earth Siege 1 and 2, but for some reason I don't remember why I skipped Star Siege. I don't even know why. I do have a special place in my heart for some Earth Siege 2. I know that we did some Klingon Academy testing. Of course, we've gotten that to work before, but we did some testing with that over the VLAN. I'm looking to see here. There was we did I did some testing with one of our community members, Denacity, and we did Elite Force 2. He found a co-op mod. Oh, how is that?
To play Elite Force 2. Awkward, but cool. And I say awkward because there's just some awkwardness with the controls. So like if one person like gets far enough ahead to like get the objective, it'll just like stop it for the other person who might be doing something else, or like there was like a thing where like I was going on ahead and he was like, oh wait, there was like because you can like they're like little hidden things you can get, like, oh, there was like a hidden thing over there we could have gotten. I was like, oh well, oops. But like he was looking for it and didn't tell me or forgot to tell me, and I'm just like going do just on my merry way, and like it just kind of cuts him off. So I mean, like I said, there's some awkwardness with it, but it does work really well. I've got like a laundry list of some other games that I do want to try and work on and get working. So yeah, I'm just really glad that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just really glad that we have community members who are also equally as sadistic about this kind of shit as we are. So.
Well, I also am grateful for all the people on the internet who have put together guides and like patches and like widescreen patches and whatnot. There's a huge community of people out there who do the hard work of getting these games up, not only up and running, but like working in widescreen or working at all. And it's just, that is a benefit, but also like a frustration. So, and what I mean by that is there's really great tools out there. I've looked at like the Voodoo, what is it called? The DG Voodoo program that does like a Voodoo wrapper. There's also the N-Glide wrapper. Yeah.
There's like a DX Wind, I think is what it's called. DX WND.
Yes, that's the window.
Those are all really great tools, and there's some people that provide tutorials for those things. However, not everything is done properly, or maybe they haven't really updated it for Windows 10, or maybe someone's running a high resolution monitor. Because that was the other thing that I found out about Dominion Wars was you physically have to change the resolution of your monitor to be much lower. It doesn't just auto do it and you can play it. You actually have to physically change it to a lower resolution. And to get Battle for Naboo to work properly on the PC, you actually have to change the refresh rate. So I have like a 144 hertz monitor. I actually have to change that down to a 60 hertz monitor. So if you have a 60 hertz screen, you're fine. You're not a big deal. But if you're running any kind of a higher end screen, which a lot of people are starting to do these days, or that's the trend and the direction things are going, these are things that you got to watch out for. And it wasn't that the game wouldn't launch; you could launch the game, but you would just like sit there and you couldn't like move or go forward or backward or anything. You just sit there at like on a pivot and just like not go anywhere. And so once you change the refresh rate on Battle for Naboo, you can play it properly. It's very strange.
Yeah, I didn't even think the last time I tried to get Dominion Wars working, it worked, but like the mouse was so messed up I couldn't do anything. I didn't even think of actually changing the resolution down to what it runs at, which is what? Is it 640 or is it 800 or
Well, you have to have it has to be anything below 1360 by 768, I believe, is the resolution.
oh
So
my
anything
gosh.
below that, and you should be able to get it to work.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And those are the words I noticed from that era that the games are the hardest to get to run. That like late Windows 98, like XP era. Those are the hardest games to get to run. Like I always think of what is it, Interstate 76 on GOG, where you have to download a small program that when you run Interstate 76, it kills Explorer to run it properly, and then when you stop the game, it reloads Explorer. It's the only way it'll
it's
run.
amazing. It's amazing how a lot of that kind of stuff works. But yeah, I've got some other ones that I'm wanting to look into doing too, because I'm crazy like that, because I love these kind of games. I was looking at some stuff with episode 1, the Gungan Frontier.
What is that? What is that? I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Kind of like an RTS.
Oh, really?
Kind of not.
My next goal is the Armada games, Star Trek Armada 1 and 2. That's my next goal, is to try and get
Yeah.
Because those have multiplayer, and we could definitely probably get those if we can get them running. We could probably use those over Zero Tier. You know.
Yeah, I did like Armada 2. I know people like to give it some flack for whatever reason, but I did like Armada 2.
I've actually not played either of them. I don't know why. I didn't play either of them. I own them now, but I can't get them to run. So hopefully, I think it was Denacity that pointed us out to some voodoo rappers specifically made for Armada 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's the DX Wind thing that can do that. Yeah, so this is kind of like why I fell in love with it, because it was just like kind of gave me some kind of like I remember the one that I got to work, Force Commander, Star Wars Force Commander.
The Age of Empires. Is that the Age of Empires?
No. That is Galactic Battlegrounds. That's the Age of Empires.
So what's Force? What's the other one then?
Force Commander. I believe Force Commander is technically supposed to be the sequel to Rebellion.
What?
Yeah. They used to sell them together in a package deal. So like you could get Rebellion, which was like the space-based like strategy stuff, and Force Commander was like all the ground-based strategy stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing boxes for this back in the day.
Yeah, I actually, so I have this, and I've never actually fully played through it, because as a kid, for whatever reason, I got stuck on one of the first few missions or something like that. I couldn't get like the stormtrooper to like board the sandcrawler or something like that, and so like I gave up on it and I never finished it. But yeah, so
it didn't get good reviews. Maybe that's why I didn't play it.
No. And it's one of those ones where it's another mediocre thing, but because like because it's these are older games, and just trying finding something to like occupy my mind and try and see, well, like how can I? No one else out there has this officially like quote unquote working. How can I make it work on my system? So
how did you get it to work?
I don't know what I did. I think I did. I'll have to like go back and rewrite up a guide, but I think I either used the N-Glide or the DG Voodoo to wrap it and get it to play, and then after that, it just worked. So I'll have to go back and actually put up some like put together some of these guides, because some like a lot of the times, like the Dominion Wars thing and the Battle for Naboo stuff was like a hodgepodge of information from like 3 different sources. So it was like I went here to find some information about it over here, and then I had to go over here and find some information, and like I had done everything right. Like for example, Battle for Naboo, I had done everything right, and I was like, the game's running. How come I can't move? And I went and searched a YouTube video this guy did, and he like was talking, like he was just playing the game, and he's like, yeah, and like he just randomly was like, yeah, it's really weird. Like to get your guy to move in this, you got to lower your refresh rate. And I was like, son of a bitch, like
That's the most
He wasn't
random. Oh my god,
he wasn't even talking about how to do it. He was just talking about playing the game and like how much fun it is and blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, it's just like a random side comment he made in the video, and I'm like, you.
Oh my
It's so
god.
frustrating.
Because that's one thing I never would think of in getting these old games run is like changing the refresh rate. I would never have thought of that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, some of these old games are really tied into the hardware, like what the hardware's supposed to be or something like that. Like your mouse won't respond unless the refresh rate's at a certain like interval.
That's insane, and yet awesome that it
Yeah.
worked. But it's still insane.
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you had any frame rate issues with Dual Universe? Because I think it's because I'm running at 120 hertz. Because I had that happen, I forget what I was messing with today, and it was just super chuggy. Fallout 76, right? Was messing with that, and it was like god awful chuggy, and then I turned the frame rate down to 60, and it's smooth. So I'm just wondering, like, Dual Universe is chopped too.
So Dual Universe, just like for anybody who's out there who's interested in this, I'm just gonna like put the biggest disclaimer on this. It is in beta. So there's gonna be a lot of times where they're going to push out like a little update to try and tweak something, and it's gonna like tank your performance. As a matter of fact, and come to find out, I was not the only one. I thought maybe I was just some random anomaly, but there have been other complaints about this. The way in which they have this thing programmed was overheating people's processors and causing their machines to shut down.
What?
This happened to me, because if people are like, for example, on the processor that I have, which is the Ryzen 2700X, if you have in the BIOS or like even in like the MSI software that I have, if you have the overclocking stuff on, that the number crunching system that was going on in the background will just use the shit out of it and burn up your processor if you do not have like some insane cooling. So like I actually had to go and turn that off, and I fixed my problem. My machine is no longer. I still have really great performance on my computer, period. But like, I had to go turn off that overclocking thing because like the game was actually in. And come to find out, I was looking through the Discord and stuff like that. There was a lot of people that were having this problem of their processors overheating and shutting their computer down. So it's like there's still a lot of optimization stuff that needs to happen. But there's every time from my view, every time they do like some kind of update or some kind of tweak here and there during this beta period, there's like some 3,000 people playing right now in this beta. So like, and the thing about Dual Universe is it is a single server like MMO. It's like EVE Online. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of systems in this game that are very similar to EVE Online. And the good stuff about EVE, like the skill training queue. So like even when you're offline, your talents are still training, and your manufacturing still functions when you're offline too. So if you put something in like the cooker, you can come back a few hours later and it'll be done. So that's some pretty cool stuff that you can do too. But yeah, no, I would suggest like just lowering your frame rate for it though, Jim, to be honest with you, because a lot of people are experiencing just a wide range of just different things that as they're continuing to improve it during the beta.
Okay. Yeah, it's just
like right,
I was
but
just
like
trying
today,
to figure out like what could possibly be the goofy business going on.
Today they did a patch about midday or something like that, and when I got into it, it was the smoothest gameplay I have ever had so far on my system.
Well, I'll have to try it again today. It was just undoable yesterday, but I thought it was like server issues or something, but it was,
and it could be though, because they unintentionally DDoSed themselves when they opened it up over the weekend. They had all these people trying to like play the beta for the first time on the weekend, and so just like everybody's like constantly trying to get in, and it like broke their server. So like they had to like reboot everything and put everybody into like a proper filter queue just to get everybody in, and so like you became like 700 in the line and you trickle in, just trying to get into the system. So and they're on AWS, so it's scalable. So I mean, it's going to be pretty good for them to scale things as they need it. So
That's cool.
yeah. Like right now, I'm cooking up some basic connectors because I'm wanting to make a medium-sized refinery. So I need all of these components. So I'm doing a whole bunch of manufacturing right now just to build one thing.
That's awesome. So, guys, I want to talk
But anyway,
about
classic games.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So I put this question out to the community, but I want to talk to you guys first about it. You probably already know my answer, but Jim, I'll start with you. What would you say is the oldest game you regularly play?
Probably TIE Fighter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The thing that sticks to my machine kind of thing.
It's one of those things that's always installed.
Basically, it never leaves. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and Free Space.
Yep. I'm with you on those two, especially Free Space, especially with the Gnosis launcher now. Dear Lord. There must be thousands of hours of content in that thing. Dear God. Spaz, what about you? What would you say is the oldest game or games you regularly play?
Well, recently it has been the Yakuza series, but before I had my computer replaced. Now I'm currently playing through Kiwami 2, which is a remake of Yakuza 2. So technically that's the oldest it gets right now. But before that, before I had to have my computer replaced, it was Emperor Battle for Dune.
Oh, God,
and the only reason I'm not playing that now is because I have the discs for Emperor Battle for Dune, but my new computer has no disk drive.
When you save up about $25 to $30, you can get a USB one. When you
I was thinking exactly that. Yeah, that's on
like,
plans for.
I don't have a USB drive on mine either. So that's why I ended up getting like just a cheap USB. I don't have a USB drive. I don't have a physical optical drive in mine either. So that's why I've got a USB one.
Yeah, they're worth owning, especially for older games. Definitely worth.
For fans like us.
Yeah, for old
who
folks
still
like
have
us.
our discs.
Yeah,
it actually came in handy. Speaking of Dune, it actually came in handy because I found a special edition version of the miniseries from Dune from the early 2000s sci-fi miniseries, and we don't have anything by our TV. Like I don't have a console or anything by our TV, so it's like the only way I can watch this, and so I popped it in and watched it on my computer.
Oh wait, you don't have anything on you don't have like a Blu-ray player or anything for your TV?
No, like everything's by my computer. So like my Xbox One X is here, and that's got a Blu-ray player in it, but like I don't use it. I mean, I've got a laptop over here. Actually, this laptop, now that I think about it, doesn't even have an optical drive. So yeah, I mean, like, I could go over to like my wife's laptop or my wife's computer, but. Yeah, we don't really have anything. I guess I could hook up my 360 to my TV and use that as a DVD player. But you see, we're not a Blu-ray kind of like home. Like we stream a lot of our stuff. I don't think we even own a single Blu-ray anything. I mean, I could be wrong. Wife might have something. What?
Hang on, my cat is where she shouldn't be. 1 second.
So anyway, Dune Spaz. Once you get that up, is that thing multiplayer? Because we should play if it is.
It has multiplayer. Yeah, and I haven't tested it. I've never tested the multiplayer, but you can do a comp stop in it.
Interesting. Well, maybe we'll have to use that VLAN stuff and try it out.
It's worth a try to see if it works.
Speaking of RTS games, so you were a backer on
Iron Harvest.
Yeah, Iron Harvest. Thanks.
Yes,
I was thinking Scythe, and it's like no, it's not called that. It's called something weird else.
Yeah, Scythe is a board game. Yeah,
right. But anyway, so have you played it yet?
Oh yeah. I got about 5 hours into it this morning.
See, I found out nobody told me they ran an open beta like all month last month, and I could have been playing it, but oh well. Yeah. So I heard the story's really good. The multiplayer like is gonna require more content down the road because there's only like 5 maps, but that'll come.
Yeah, they have more stuff planned for that. There's no co-op campaign, which they never advertised having a co-op campaign, but they have co-op multiplayer maps that will be coming later, like co-op challenge maps that will be coming later. But yeah, the campaign is great. You start off with the Polania faction, and your hero character is a woman with a bear companion, and the bear will heal your infantry units when you are not in combat.
Or just run up and lick them.
Kind of. I mean, it's sort of like, the stereotype of the husky with the little medical bag. It's kind of like that. Yeah, except the bear has the medical bag on the side.
Well, there you go. I heard they toned it down from what people said, but it was kind of like a 40K type of deal with the heroes, where it was almost like you needed a hero to kill a hero because normal troops couldn't deal with them. And I guess they've like balanced that down. From what I understand, they're doing a lot of continual balancing things. The more people play the game, the more they figure out.
Yeah, that's very fair to say.
What game are you guys talking about? I had to get my cat off my desk. What?
Oh, Jim was asking me about Iron Harvest, which came out today.
All right, I got to play that too.
And yeah, I've been enjoying the hell out of it. I'm terrible at it, but I'm enjoying the hell out of its campaign.
Right. So how far back does the Yakuza series go? Because you mentioned that was the oldest thing you're playing. How far back does that go?
Wow,
PlayStation 2, right?
PS2 era, yeah.
Oh, so at least like 15 years, at least. Wow. I didn't realize it had been around that long.
Oh yeah, it's been around quite a while.
And you're on the second one, I see.
2005 was when the first one was released on the PS2, and then the Yakuza Kiwami games, Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, are remakes of Yakuza 1 and 2. I've got 1 through 6, well, plus 0 as well on my PS4. That's why I've been playing through the series in advance of the 7th Yakuza game, which is going to be a turn-based combat and really ridiculous in the same vein as the rest of the games, and I'm here for it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like the ridiculousness of it. It was like the one you're like in the hostess club, and then they like put a chicken in charge. It's like the chicken's the manager of the club now. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wait, what in in the series. It's known for that. And the spin-off Judgment is an excellent PS4 game. I highly recommend it if you haven't played it.
I've only played a little bit of Yakuza 0, which I enjoyed, but am terrible at. There's fighting in it, and I'm not good at the fighting. I did want to play more of the karaoke though. I thought that was great. Always happy to see karaoke. So, Hunter, did we get to you and what the oldest game you play regularly is? I don't remember because I got distracted.
No, that's fine. Cats be catting,
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of like Jim. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily TIE Fighter, but I feel like it's the X-Wing series. I regularly go back to that. I mean, if we're being really honest, I don't know if that's as regular as just my sheer fascination for Star Wars Galaxies. Like, even though it's not around anymore, like I still like dump into the emulated servers from time to time, and I don't know. There's just something about that game that just like always holds my attention.
I would say that counts. I would say that definitely counts because, I mean, yeah, the emulated version is not old, but, the game itself has been around for 15 years, roughly.
2003, I think.
Oh, gosh. It came out the same year as Eve? Damn.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess that's another one. Like I played Eve for a very long time.
It's true, and people forget how old
currently,
it is, but it's old.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, and currently I'm doing what they call winning at Eve, which means I'm not playing it anymore. So
the only way to win is not to play.
That's
right.
Oh god.
So
true though.
Yeah.
So true. That's the only way to win at Eve.
I mean, if you're talking about non-PC games, I go back to Ocarina of Time on the 64, like,
Yeah, it doesn't have to
like
be
it
PC.
just came out.
Be anything. It doesn't have to be PC.
Yeah, I go back to that one like it just came out all the time.
Like, I mean, y'all know I've been playing a lot of Starfleet 2, which is probably my oldest game, but the other old game I play regularly are I go back and forth between Burnout 3 Takedown and Burnout Revenge, which came out within like a year or two of each other in the mid-aughts. I will regularly load those up on my PS2 just to knock some drivers into the wall. So great. There are still no games like those. There really aren't, I think. So I asked the community too what some of the older games they still play, and we got a lot of varied responses. Like Rupert is playing Heroes of Might and Magic 3 right now, which, let's all be honest, I think is the best of the series. I think. See, we got some Morrowind.
I've got all of those games, and I have yet to like actually touch them.
Which ones? Heroes of Might and Magic?
Yes, to that and to Morrowind. Like, I've played Morrowind, but like, yeah.
It's hard to go back to Morrowind after Skyrim, for me at least, because one thing Elder Scrolls I don't think has ever gotten right, at least until Skyrim, was the combat. It's always been clunky. Always. And I think they finally kind of mostly got it right in Skyrim. So going back to Morrowind or Oblivion or probably my favorite is Daggerfall. Oh God, it's kind of rough. But Ponicus mentions Bruce Lee on the 64 and Mosgrom as well. I never owned a 64, so I never played that one.
I had that Bruce Lee game on the Atari 800.
Was that the
same one as the C64 one, pretty much, yeah.
And was it awesome? Because I've never really heard of it, but
it was pretty ridiculous.
It's a mixed bag, yeah.
What did you play it on, Jim?
Both Commodore 64 and Atari.
Oh wow, you had multiple computers in your house when you were?
Not at the same time, no. But I had an Atari first. That was my first. Well, Texas Instruments TI-99 was the first machine, but that's super duper limited, right? So I outgrew that real fast.
Right.
And then got an Atari 800, an 800 XL. And then whenever I joined the Army, I picked up a Commodore 64.
Nice. Oh,
okay. Guts app. I'm sorry. I can't say that last. I will say there is something about loading up Unreal Tournament and just like that initial initial launching of the game. There's just something about the way it sounds. Like I almost want to say like there's something about it, like just like the five senses response to like loading up Unreal Tournament. Like after a long period of time, there's nothing quite nostalgic like that. It's just that's. Yes, I agree. That's a good one.
That is a real good one. Yeah, I've loaded that up. I think a couple of years ago, and I should load it up again soon. It's probably one of my favorite shooters. And yeah, just the just the sensory experience of going back to that menu and loading up a server, and there's just something. They did something right with even just getting ready to play that game, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Someone mentioned Darklands. Rupert mentioned Darklands, which I've tried to go back to a couple. I don't know if any of you guys have played it. I've tried to go back to it in the last few years. It's rough. It is. Oh, it's a rough game. I mean, it's doesn't have the best UI, but it's also brutally hard. Absolutely brutally hard. But yeah, the original Unreal Tournament is 2003 and 2004 were okay, but the original one, that was
there was because I mean it was Unreal and Unreal 2, then they did Unreal Tournament, and then there was that like super short lived. They don't want to talk about it 2003, and then they made 2004.
Yeah, in 2004.
Like you can't buy 2003 anywhere. I don't think. Like I happen to have a copy myself. Yeah. Oh yeah, like you can buy all the Unreal Tournaments like legitimately. I mean, like you can buy all of the Unreal Tournaments everywhere else except for 2003.
Good Lord,
it just doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist.
Well, you can buy it for $5 on Amazon if you want a used copy, but why? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm sure to be fair, Unreal Tournament 2004 was basically like the like beefed up version of what 2003 was supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
In all fairness.
Weren't there ones after 2004? Like wasn't there
Well, there was an Unreal Tournament 3.
7 or 3 or something. Yeah.
No, there was an Unreal Tournament 3 that they did. Because like I said, they did 1 and 2, and then they came out with 3 later. Because the Unreal Tournaments was Unreal and Unreal 2, Unreal Tournament, and Unreal Tournament 2 all had campaigns. And then that's what they did with Unreal 3, I guess. And I just don't think it took. So.
Oh yeah, it came out in 2007. Yeah, I vaguely remember this one. Like,
yeah, it was kind of like the paid version of like beta version of 2004. I don't have the box, but I had like the jewel case and the discs for it. I don't even remember where I got it.
Oh yeah, so 2003. You just mentioned this. I think was a paid beta for 2004. Ugh. Not fun. But I also asked around the community and got a lot of great responses. Like NetHack is someone's oldest game. Albion. Have any of you guys played Albion? The Blue Byte RPG. That's a real good
long time ago.
Yeah, that's a real good one. Master of Orion 2, Total Annihilation, Warhammer Chaos Gate, which is probably one of my favorite Warhammer games. The original Star Wars Battlefront, Stalker, which I can't play. It creeped me out too much.
Get out of your Stalker.
Yeah, it creeped me out way too much. I got maybe an hour through it, and I was like, nope, I'm done.
You should play The Forest.
No. Yeah, sorry, Jim. I know you well enough now to know to discount any game suggestion you throw at me at this point. I just can't trust.
You crash. You're in an airplane crash. You're in the jungle, and it's like a survival crafting thing. And you build a little tree house and get a little fire going, and then in the middle of the night you hear.
Yeah, no,
out in the woods.
No.
Now, we were going to stream Green Hell at one point, but after I played enough of it to tell Brian, nope, you were going to nope out of it anyway, we canceled the idea.
I feel bad because I asked for keys for that one, and I usually try and stream everything I ask for a key for. But I was like,
what's the deal in Green Hell? Like, there's no zombies and stuff, right? So like, what's in it that's freaky?
Well, at night, there are a lot of things that can kill you. You travel through water, you get leeches, which drain your sanity.
Oh God!
As well as your health. As your sanity drops, you get hallucinations that you might think are real.
Oh no!
And that's not to mention the hostile wildlife that attacks you, and and the cannibals. They're cannibals.
Great!
And they cannot be reasoned with. They will kill you.
Did I mention the cannibals?
So it's pretty much Gilligan's Island at this point. Then
it's pretty much the way I like to mishear the song lyric. Every time you go away, you take a piece of meat with you, and it's cannibals that are killing you. And they will do exactly that.
Have you played The Forest? Because the cannibals in that are the worst, man. It's like because they pack hunt.
The cannibals in Green Hell pack hunt. They also use bows against you. And your stamina drains so quickly that you will run out of stamina in a few spear attacks, which leaves you vulnerable because you can't defend while your stamina is down. And there are just lots and lots of ways to die that are not even including things that are related to blood loss. I mean, you can fall, break a leg. You have to treat every injury. There's lots of things that can go wrong. You can eat food that makes you sick, and then you're vomiting everywhere, which means that you can't gain nutrients, and it can just lead to this death cycle. I mean, there's a lot of ways to die. So, probably would nope out of it.
Yeah, it does not sound like my jam. Like, no, Ponicus, I'm not. No, it's no.
I want a mod that turns that game, change the environment to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, and it's actually like cannibal Oompa Loompas chasing you around.
Okay,
that's
maybe
terrifying.
I might play it then. No, Ponicus, I appreciate you all the support you've given me, but I'm gonna have to say no.
What if
we're using the veto on that one? Also, there are spiders.
And
I know Brian will not do spiders.
No.
Nope.
No.
Here's a blending of the genres, Jim. What do you think about this? Willy Wonka world, but instead of them being like zombie Oompa Loompas, they're like the AI Joes from Alien Isolation.
Oh, those creepy ass robots.
Yeah,
with the faces. Oh God. Those in some ways are creepier than the aliens, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, they're a worse problem.
Those things were even creepier, I think. Oh God.
Yeah, but at least you can shoot them and drop those things. The aliens are super invulnerable.
Yeah. Sorry, Ponicus. I appreciate it, but I don't need to give you all a heart attack on stream. That's the last thing any of us need. God. So a lot of great old games. And a lot of them still work, which is great. Like, and I love when companies will on their own make a game work for more modern systems. Like THQ Nordic has been doing this with Nexus the Jupiter Incident and Imperium Galactica. Now they're about to release it's not super old, but it's kind of old. What the hell is it called? Reckoning. God, what is that? It's a horrible name. Amalur?
Kingdoms of Amalur, yeah.
Yeah,
they're doing the remaster of that.
Yeah, they're calling it the Re-Reckoning, which is, I'm sorry, that's hysterical.
Well, I also appreciate it too when companies do like what the Star Siege and the Tribes guys did, which was just like
release their
old games. Like, here's all the ISO files. Like they like, you have to make them work for yourselves, which the community has done. But like, they're like, here's our games. Like, we're not.
Oh, right, because with Star Siege, you found someone who made an all-in-one installer. It wasn't from the folks
right, because if you don't if you don't get that community installer, then you actually have to go in and like mod the game yourself to make it work on modern machines properly. Because there's like a mouse hack that you have to get to make your mouse actually work in the game, and then they go ahead and inject the resolution like updates for you, so you can have like modern resolution play styles. So
I also got to say, Star Siege and the Tribes sounds like a really great name for a cover band.
Star Siege and the Tribes. Nice. You should write that down.
That's pretty great. Because the games came together back in the day when you bought them. You buy Star Siege. This is the funny thing. You buy Star Siege and also get a copy of Tribes. And then
they slipped Tribes in for free because everybody bought Star Siege, and then they were like, "Whoa, Tribes is so better."
Yeah, Tribes became the thing. Tribes became the thing, and no one gave a shit about. Excuse me, no one gave us a crap about Star Siege. It's funny how that works out.
And credit to THQ Nordic for buying up all those old licenses and then making them work.
Yeah, they're not even like, for a lot of them, they're not even like recharging. Like for Nexus, they just did it. They just fixed it. If you already owned it, you just got the updates. Yeah, System and Shock on Steam, the folks at THQ Nordic updated Nexus. So now not only does it work great on Windows 10, but multiplayer works and everything. At least I think it was a year or two ago, THQ Nordic just updated it. And you don't have to do it. It's not like anything special or anything. You just buy it and it works.
They updated what?
Nexus the Jupiter incident.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a couple of years ago, they just did a huge patch. They're like, here you go.
Well, I never had trouble making it run, so I don't.
Yeah, but the multiplayer wouldn't run.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think it didn't. I think it did not support higher resolutions as it does now. So I think it was more like bringing it more up to date. And that's really, and I love when companies do that. And you guys are right. I wish more companies, like, we can't sell these old games anymore. Here they are. Like, I wish they could do that. You know,
I mean, some of it's down to licensing rights that they have to. Yeah, when those licensing rights are held by multiple entities, it becomes difficult to. I mean, that's why some of the older games, like licensed properties, are just removed from sale. If you have it in your library, great, you still have it, but everybody else can't buy it anymore because they can't legally sell it.
Yeah, so Brian, did you back in the day happen to play Air Warrior or Warbirds or Aces High?
I played Air Warrior 2 and 3, but pretty much for the single player stuff. But yeah, I did play Air Warrior 2 and 3 back in the day.
All right, so I had a nostalgia moment. I wasn't even thinking about, because you're asking me what the oldest thing that I've played lately was Aces High 3 from 2001.
Oh crap! Aces High 3.
I resubscribed. I threw $15 and I was just like, let me back in.
It's still running? Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's on Steam. Yes, sir.
What? Holy crap, it is.
Isn't it though? But unfortunately, it's still $15 a month. I wish if it was one of those deals where I could pay like $30 to get 6 months. Oh yeah. Oh, I just never let the subscription lapse. But I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of money. $15 a month for, yeah. But anyways, Hunter and I were trying to play IL-2 and having some trouble with it because the controls in IL-2 are
wait, which IL-2? The one that they're updating now, or the older one?
Yeah, start the Stalingrad Great Battles series thing.
Okay, right, yeah.
Because there's some pretty good multiplayer servers that are up. The unfortunate thing about the multiplayer servers that are up is that they've got the thing turned up to like the hardest realism, no icons, no map, no nothing, right? So it's kind of crippling when you're trying to learn the game to do that. But anyway, I figured out how the co-op stuff works. And unfortunately, the game didn't ship with any co-op missions. But I found a mission generator, and I can crank co-op missions out. Like it takes like 30 seconds to make them.
Oh,
so
nice.
so that's pretty cool. And you can say, hey, start on the runway. Because the most brutal thing in that game, like harder than dogfighting, is taxiing a BF-109 without crashing.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad at that game for that shit. Like it. I was like, can we just like start already flying? It's hard. That's the hardest thing in the game is to just get to the runway.
That's why
it's like you start in the parking area and you have to go down the taxiway and just get on the runway. That's it. Sounds real easy. Oh no. So you have to go through the engine startup, and they're mercifully they let you just hit the E key and it'll start, but you have to sit there for like a couple minutes while it does, right? I mean, it's like 3-4 minutes to start the engine. And then the engine starts up, you let it warm up a little bit, and then you bring the throttle up to about 25%. You just bump it and the plane will start rolling, and then you bring it down to about 10% just so it keeps moving. And then you use the rudder and you try to turn right and left, which works in like every other plane in the game, unless you're flying an BF-109. The 109, you go to turn, and then it's just like, let's do a donut. Let's do two. And the tail just whips around. And, you hit the aircraft that are parked around you, which really pisses other players off because they're sitting through a 4-minute startup too, and then you clip their wing off. So,
or, like you somehow do a donut and take off.
Yeah. That's a helicopter if you do it fast enough. Yeah, it's just just a bitch, man. So I just quit flying the 109, and so the technique to doing it is you have to map controls for left brake and right brake, and you would think, well, I'm rolling a little bit, I'm going to hit the right brake, and then I'll turn right. Oh no, you can't just do that. You can't steer with the brakes alone, like. Have you ever been in like a small plane, like a Cessna, and taxied, like just been in there for the taxiing? You can steer that shit around just with the brakes, right? That's basically what you do until you get it up to speed. But you're limited to like 15 miles an hour, and your tail rudder, your rudder is generally ineffective at that speed. So it's all about the tail, unless you have a steerable nose wheel, it's all about brakes. Not that 109. It's just not. But you have to coordinate the brake and the rudder at the same time, and you can't put like jam full brakes on, or you can bring the engine up. It's about like throttle coordination to give it like a bump of power when you try to turn, and then you cut the power. And if you don't time it all right, you just do a freaking donut maybe twice. Not good. Fly any plane but that, right? I just started flying the Focke-Wulf, and that thing just taxis like I'm taxiing a Cessna out there, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
so that's great.
They just had a big sale of a bunch of their content, so I think I bought like a few things. So I really need to give IL2 a try, because it has it has a career mode now for single player, doesn't it? Like
yes. Did you happen to buy Flying Circus?
I believe I did.
Sale?
I believe I did.
Oh,
yes.
You're gonna have a good time with Flying Circus, because that's the biplane thing, and they brought it. It's the game that formerly was what the hell was it called? It was that on
I know
Steam,
what you're talking about.
Game. Right. Yeah.
God, what I know what you're talking about.
Fields?
No,
it's the other
was another
thing.
one. It was another
Rise of
one.
Flight.
I cannot.
That's it. It's Rise of Flight.
That's
so
it. Yeah.
It was formerly Rise of Flight, and they were on the old IL2 engine, which like not the old like 1946 one, but the intermediate engine, which was the one that they did like Cliffs of Dover with, which is finally a good game, by the way. You have to get the Blitz edition that has the community patch, and then it's a fine game. But then, yeah, this version, they've basically brought Rise of Flight up to that, and it was on sale for like, I don't know, 60% off or something, so I could get it for like, what was it, $25 or whatever.
Like that.
At that price, it was worth doing, and you get like more of the aircraft than you did whenever you bought just the base version of Rise of Flight. So that was kind of worth it. Also, they just put in the last tank for the tank version of the game, and that will be coming along shortly. Probably, I would expect them to probably have that out by November-ish. Probably, I think is going to be their goal on that. That's going to be a good time. That's probably going to be the best tank simulator other than Steel Beasts that you can get. So that should be a pretty good time. But it's all integrated, right? So you could do like a tank battle in an IL-2 multiplayer server right now, but there's only 2 tanks to pick from unless you've bought the other thing. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The thing is that once you get in the air and we're playing on the server where all the icons and everything's turned off, and this game has a thing for the difficulty of spotting other aircraft. It's really hard, like with no help to do it. Sometimes you just have to listen and you'll hear another plane and it's like, I hear him, where the hell is he? And you start looking around and it's like, oh, there he is down in the weeds. But it's like, the guy gets like a mile from you and he's like 1 pixel. And good luck. So most games will magnify it a little bit because it's like, hey, eyeball versus a screen. You would see it probably with your eyes, but you're not seeing it here. This game gives you no help. So my experience in multiplayer is like, I'm flying around, I'm looking at the map. There's no icons on the map to tell you where you are. So I'm trying to navigate, and it's like VFR. It's like, okay, there's a town over there. And then there's a lake that's shaped like a boot. All right, let me look at the map. Where's the lake with the boot lake, right? And I'm head down in the map, and then like my tail gets blown off because somebody like crept up behind me. It's like I never saw them, so I'm trying to get used to spotting aircraft in it. But it's interesting because it makes you actually work to fly the plane. It's not a casual sim, and some of those planes just no. So it's no, like the you would think that the I-16 would be a simple plane to fly, right? But no, because you have to work the mixture and the propeller feathering, or like the RPM of the prop and the throttle. It's like a 3-legged thing, and you have to keep it all coordinated, or you stall the engine, and then you have to do like a restart in the air, and it sucks. So yeah, it's hard plane because it was like a really early plane, but it was one of those planes that remember they had those like planes that were built specifically for racing, right? It was like whenever they got out of biplanes and they went to monoplanes, and they were like, whoa, they're hella fast, and they were doing like pylon races and stuff like back in the 20s.
Like like the plane was all engine and then a tiny cockpit in the back.
Exactly that. It's like there's a chair on top of a giant engine, right? Yeah. That's what the I-16 is. It's a chair with a gun on top of a very tiny engine. And yeah, but that plane is just all engine management. And it's like, oh, no thanks. But I love flying it whenever I'm not in the full real sim thing, because I can just turn on auto mixture and I'm not worried about it. And then I just fly the plane.
Turn all that stuff, like you can turn all the realism down, right? Like,
yeah, but not in the multiplayer server if you join the one that's got 100 people in it, because they're all playing it hardcore, right?
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So point being, right? Well, the thing is though, I can cook a co-op mission that we all can jump into. If I wanted to, I can have us all spawn in the air. You don't even have to take off, right?
Oh, good.
I can turn all of the assists on, everything. Like you could just autopilot to the target if you wanted to, right? So yeah, they give you control. It's just the people that happen to run the 2 multiplayer servers that are super popular, their community was like, no, man, make it hard as hell. So I guess that's how they like it.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, that's why Strike Fighters 2 has been my sim of choice of late, because they're like, okay, Here you are, 5 minutes from the target. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Escape. You're done. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
And I just reinstalled F117 today off
Oh.
GOG. Yeah, so I'm gonna
Damn.
screw around with that a little bit. But the deal was, because I was flying Flight Sim 2020, right? And have you installed that? You have Game Pass, right?
I actually uninstalled it after playing it once.
Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah. No, man. There's things to do in there. But
Are there, though?
There is. Well, it's the game you make for yourself. It's like, here's a sandbox. What do you want to do, right? And for me, it's like, well, I want to learn how to work the GPS and the navigation and actually learn IFR navigation and stuff like that. So I keep myself engaged with that. But if I just go up VFR and fly around, oh, hey, there's my house. All right, we did that. Hey, the game looks amazing. Great. But yeah, it's not like a fighter game where you have to contend with actually shooting stuff or whatever.
Right,
It's
but I
just
still
kinda
would
like fly around.
I still would like a goal. I still would like a mission. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting. That's why I'm waiting for a game to be bolted onto it somewhere, like that that air hauler thing or whatever. You know.
Well, they have an interesting start. Oh, by the way, the Flight Sim Economy, probably this week, I think the 7th they were talking about, is when their patch comes out, and then Flight Sim Economy and that stuff's gonna work. So that
might get me that might get me to reinstall. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also fun in multiplayer because it's a chill game. So if you just wanted to go up and fly around with us, it's just that easy. It's just like, who's on my friends list? I'll make a friends only.
There's no player versus player.
No, there's no guns or anything. So in fact, I can't even hit you because it ghosts the other person's plane if they get too close.
That's smart.
Yeah, keeps you from colliding on the runway, and no griefers that way. But yeah, I was trying to play it with VATSIM, which is the virtual air traffic control, and is like, there's a guy up in Cleveland and he runs like Cleveland Tower, basically, which is, like the Cleveland regional thing. So I was just going to fly like from Burke Lakefront down to Cincinnati or something and hang out on the radio with those guys. And unfortunately, the Sim Connect thing that makes Flight Simulator X work with it, it works like right out of the box. I was shocked that Flight Sim 2020 actually used the same FS Connect thing, but there's some bug in it, so it like clobbers your frame rate. So I was down to like 15 frames, and I was like, oh no, can't fly this way. And but whenever that thing comes out, then I'll be like full on VATSIM, Flight Sim Economy, engaged with it. But the old game thing here is that because I was frustrated trying to play the multiplayer in IL2, and it was like Flight Sim 2020, and I was like, I need to play IL2 so I can shoot some people. And then it was like, wow, IL2, this is kind of a bitch, and I can't find anybody to shoot them, but they seem to find me. So let's go back and play Air Warrior. Right? Yeah. And so that's what I did. It was like, it's on Steam. It costs $15. What the hell? I'll do it. Got in there. There's still like 100 to 120 people playing every night.
Wow.
I was shocked. That's what the population was back in 2002, 2003 when I last touched it.
Honestly amazing.
So, yeah. And it's cool. Like, it's a community thing, and everybody knows everybody because you consistently see the same 100 people every night. So yeah, it's neat. And they have a map, and you can see where you are on the map. And I honestly, the stuff that I liked about Star Rangers, Space Rangers, whatever the game that I want the remake of from iMagic, Space Rangers,
Space
I think.
Rangers.
Yeah. Okay. So the way the map is, right, it's a grid, right? And then you can see like how many enemies are in a square, but it doesn't show you specifically where they're at. So it's a Star Raiders kind of map, right? It's like, okay, I can tell there's a little green line there, so there's some of my guys, but there's a big red line. So I know there's a lot of enemies over there, so I need to go fly into that square and see what's going on, kind of thing. And then you pick what airbase you're gonna go from. The only thing that I don't dig about it is that there's like 3 countries, but what country doesn't matter because you can fly any nationality of plane. And I kind of like the idea of like, no, it would actually be like these guys are Axis, those guys are allies. You know, you have to pick what you're going to fly. But it doesn't do that. But that's, you know, it's old school stuff. But that kind of leads to people getting like, there's like 3-4 planes that are like the plane, you know? So you go up and it's like, oh, it's all P-51s and Yaks and P-38s. And it's like, I chose poorly. I'm in a Spitfire, you know? But yeah, it's cool. It works with track IR. It works with VR, which is shocking.
Wait, Aces High 3 works with VR?
Yes, it do.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, and the graphics are like super primitive. I mean, it looks like it's from 2003. They've improved it over what it was, because it was ugly when it came out, and times have advanced, and it has stayed about the same level of ugly. So that means it got better. But yeah, it's like the horizon, you know, the landscape draw distance is like it. Once you get up about 5,000 feet, you know, you're looking at fog instead of distant mountains and stuff. So, and I think it's because they want it to be playable on super low spec machines that just barely have a 3D card in them. But they don't want people that have better machines to have an advantage. So the graphics are just kind of shit for everybody, unfortunately.
I do like this one review of the game on Steam. Check 6, dead, time to go up again. That's the game loop. Because there's a key for check 6, right? So you'll be flying. Somebody looks at you. If you're in the center of their screen and they hit the tilde key, you'll hear in your cockpit, check 6, you know, the little computer voice. And it's check 6, check 6. And then you look, and by the time you look over your shoulder, your wings have exploded off. So I've learned, don't look. When somebody says check 6, just yank the stick, like just slam it to the side and pull back, and maybe you'll live. You got to be quick. I might have to give this a shot out of just sheer unbridled curiosity.
Yeah, dude,
God.
if you got $15 to throw down, it's like fly with me. It's been a hot 12 years since I played this game, but I used to have for years. I had a sub to this thing, and back whenever I was on AOL, I was playing Air Warrior with some of the same guys that are still on here. It's like, you know, I see names and I'm like, whoa, that guy's still here. So yeah, I was.
Yeah, he's like, I never left.
It's like, you're still alive? Wow.
That's amazing.
But it's definitely like there's no replacement for that game if it goes away, unfortunately. There's Warbirds, but Warbirds ain't that. But I guess they're working on with the 5 people that are playing it, maybe.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But no, I just there's this game, I wish it looked better, but as far as the gameplay, it's like in my perfect, like it's in my sweet spot for casual yet really hard, because the plane is easy to fly. Not getting killed by everybody else that's trying to kill you is the hard part, because it's all other humans, right? And it's just like, you really have to know how to fly, because these dudes have been playing this game for 15 years and they will grease you. It's like they know exactly what they're doing. So it's a little tough, like breaking back in, but at least I make them work for it.
Yeah, that's exactly like if you go online and play Unreal Tournament, the original Unreal Tournament today. It's like these guys have been playing like shoddy snipes for 20 years. It's just like,
well, I love
bots. Spawn dead.
Well, I love bots. Anyway, it should be good time to wrap up. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, because I've got some irons in the fire, but I haven't heard from anybody, so we might do another topic show. It's a weird time, so I don't blame people for not getting back to me. But Thursday for our LAN party, my friends, we are going to be trying EDF 5. That'll be fun. I've
Yes.
been playing some offline missions of that. Well, online, offline, solo online. I've been playing some solo online missions of that to boost up my wing diver because I love the wing diver. And
Such a great game.
it's so great. I can't wait. So that's Thursday at 4 p.m. Friday, we're doing another movie night at 4 p.m. Pacific on Discord. We're going to be showing Paddington, which, if you haven't seen it, is one of the greatest movies of all time.
This is a movie about the killer bear, right? From Australia.
Killer bear, yes. He's a vicious beast who, if you don't give him marmalade, will I can't even keep it up. But yeah, so Friday at 4 p.m. we're going to be showing Paddington. So that'll be fun. And then tomorrow on the stream, if I can wake up in time for it, we'll do combat mission, whatever the hell it's called, Shock 2, whatever combat.
Oh, really? They send you that?
Yeah. I didn't even ask. They're like, you want it?
Lucky
I didn't even ask. They're like, you want it? All right. So they were nice.
Yeah, tell them I want it too.
Now I was supposed to say, next time say, can I get 3 more? That's just all I have.
Well, I will play anything Slytherin sends me because I'm a Slytherin fanboy. So
Just tell them from now on you just need 4. That's all.
So pro tip, do not play that thing in real time. Play it in turn based, right?
I thought it was a Wii I thought it was a Wii
lot of
game.
shit. It is, but there's also an option. You can play it real time.
No, I would never do that.
It's a poor choice.
That sounds terrible. That sounds absolutely terrible. No, I would never do that. Because I played the first combat mission ages ago. What was that, Beyond Overlord?
Yeah.
Was that one? The first one? And I loved it, but I wasn't good at it. So we'll see.
I've owned every one of them, and I'm not great at any of them, but I have a hell of a good time. The one Operation Black Sea is the other modern one that came out, and it's basically like a it's Russian land war thing. It's a good time. Yeah, and so this is kind of more of that.
Maybe they'll be able to bring the other ones to Steam if this one does well. I was really surprised.
Hope so.
I was really surprised to see it coming to Steam because Battlefront is one of those companies. They're like, "Are you guys stuck in 2002? What's going on with you guys?"
I know their pricing model is. Did you see how much that thing costs to get the DLCs for it? It's like $120. I was like,
$120
what?
If you want the base, if you want the game and all the DLCs, it's like $100 some. Which honestly, the base game plus the Marines expansion is all you need from looking at it. Because the other one, it's like, okay, well, we're going to add like France and Germany and the Netherlands, right? But it doesn't change the enemy stuff at all. But the one with the Marines, it actually adds like, here's even more enemy equipment, right? So it's like, okay, that's important to me. I would get it not because I'm playing the Marines, but because I want the enemies to have more variety. Because to me, it's like the deal of like, okay, we show up in tanks and stuff, and like bulletproof flak jackets and shit, and you guys like throw Molotov cocktails off of rooftops, and it's kind of like there's some disparity there. It's if it was more like a Syrian war where it's tanks versus tanks kind of thing, maybe it does that. But it seems kind of like if it's just kind of like a Afghanistan kind of thing, like the last one was, it's like, well, I don't know. But you do get a respect for how much some like farmers with guns can jack up your squad of guys too. Well, the thing has a training. I haven't played a combat mission in years, but I saw it as a training campaign, so I'm definitely going to be playing that. But yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So, folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and as always, thank you. Special thank you to those who support us on Twitch and Patreon. You guys are the absolute best, and I love you. And with that, we'll see you back here tomorrow. And I hope you all have a great night. Be safe, be well, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.